And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Starting off with today's satellite imagery, you can see the next system and a lot of clouds here spreading eastward. The main low center back to the west out here, but a lot of cloudiness spreading into Kodiak Island and even into the western Gulf of Alaska. And another batch of clouds over the interior associated with quite an area of light rain and showers here in this area, extending down into northern Cook Inlet, and then kind of a break off to the east, another break back to the west there, and dry and mild up there in the north slope on out to the Arctic coast, with temperatures approaching 60 degrees in some areas of the north slope, and well into the 40s there for the Arctic coast, some lower 50s. Southeast coast, most of this moisture stayed offshore as it moves off to the southeast there, but still some clouds left over the panhandle, but a pretty dry day today for all of the southeastern areas there, as well as the North Gulf Coast. Showers into Prince William Sound though. On the chart today, here's this big area of light rain over the interior, and again that scattering out the showers as you get out toward the Seward Peninsula and then on up to the northwest here, partly to mostly sunny north slope areas of the Arctic coast today, including Utah-Gavik there in the central Arctic coast, and a little bit of clearing here with some showers over toward the eastern border, and dry for the southeast coast. A few showers down here mainly off the south coast there. This moisture off to the southeast no longer a factor, never really was, and this elongated frontal system here pulling out away from the main low center back to the west, spreading rain up toward Kodiak Island and definitely into Bristol Bay today. That's sliding into southern Cook Inlet during the afternoon hours. And for tonight, that system slowly moves eastward here. The frontal boundary doesn't really make much eastward progress, so moisture breaks off or continues here and links up with this trough. So back into the rain and showers, south central Alaska, North Gulf Coast, Prince William Sound, northward into the Tanana Valley, but over toward the central interior, becoming more showery and tapering off, just isolated showers of Seward Peninsula, especially along that trough, scattered isolated showers or widely scattered isolated showers there for the western Brooks Range area. Dry for the north slope and the Arctic coast there, dry over the Kuskokwim Valley and the lower and, lower Yukon River Valley all the way out to the coastline there, with rain shifting up into Kuskokwim Bay and Bethel right on the northern edge of that there, and the rain changing to showers eventually late tonight for the eastern Aleutians, ending for Adak and Atka, dry to Shimei and Attu, and dry for the southeast coast. And for tomorrow, a dry day, high pressure in over the panhandle there, partly to mostly sunny skies there in the southern areas, and mostly cloudy, risk of an isolated shower to the north, and rain and increasing wind for the North Gulf Coast here and the Gulf of Alaska. Barren Islands, periods of rain. Kodiak Island, or just flat out rain, good solid rain there tomorrow, later tonight through tomorrow. Back into Bristol Bay, increasing rain again for south central Alaska with increasing eastern southeasterly winds there through, for example, Turnagain Arm and the mountain passes. Dry up here to the north there, less chance of moisture into the Tanana Valley. And then from about the White Mountains northward, showers with that trough all the way up to the Brooks Range there. Another partly to mostly sunny day for the north slope to the Arctic coast. And the next system out here pushing wind and rain into the far western Aleutians and Bering Sea. That low center doesn't move much, and the front in westerly flow here gets stretched out and weakens as it pulls away from the main low center. Just a weak trailing edge coming across Adak and Atka tomorrow, the chance of some light rain there. And then back to the north, better chances, but that stays west of the Pueblos through tomorrow. Otherwise, this low center in the Gulf of Alaska now. Tomorrow night, gale force winds for the North Gulf Coast into at least a portion of the day Thursday, and gale force winds Wednesday night for southern Cook Inlet into early Thursday as well. Be dropping back to small craft advisories in the afternoon. And precipitation now starting to taper off as wind flow becomes more west-northwest there for Kodiak Island. But increasing wind and rain pushes into the southeast coast there with possible gales force winds on the north coast. Definitely small craft advisories. Northern inside waters looking at gale force winds, specifically Lynn Canal looking at gale force winds for the day on Thursday there with small craft advisories down toward Clarence Strait. And now cloudier and a better chance of showers there over at least the central and western North Slope areas, but nothing significant, anything that falls will be quite light. And from there, looking at temperatures, lows in the mid to upper 30s. Brooks Range out to the Arctic coast tonight, near 40 on the west side there. Otherwise, mostly in the 40s. Elsewhere around the state, including the southeast coast and the Aleutians. Highs for tomorrow in the 50s here. Across much of interior Alaska south of the Brooks Range. North Slope again, mid-50s likely. 40s along the Arctic coast. Lower 60s with some sunshine for the southeast coast. Otherwise in the mid to upper 50s there. And mid-50s for the Alaska Peninsula as well as Adak. And then for the lows, 30s and 40s over the interior with mostly in the 30s for the Brooks Range all the way up to the Arctic coast, but these areas staying above freezing. And 40s to lower 50s for the Panhandle, right around 40 for the Copper River Basin, lower 50s for Kodiak Island. And from there, Thursday afternoon, 50s over the interior, near 60 in the Susitna Valley though, 61 for Kodiak, and southeast coast, a little cooler, but not too much. 50s to near 60 with the wind and rain moving in there. And 40s from the Brooks Range out to the Arctic coast, and in the 50s for the Aleutians and the central and southern Bering Sea.